Hello and welcome, and the Lord's blessings to you. This one is in housing and subsidized and loans, and I could have never fathomed the difficulties in getting a house. I Before I left my home state, I did reach out to people, and no one was there for me. I did reach out to see about an apartment. I find the parking really problematic. But the main thing was, they were like, it's 5 years, and being that you need a ground floor, you're looking at 7 years. And it's like, I don't even want to live here, you know? I've spent enough years in my home state. Like my one elementary school friend said, yeah, this is a great place for you to visit. You really don't belong here. I'm tired of the weather. I like a little bit calmer weather. So I figured I'm gonna go see the ocean, and 3-4 months I'll have something. Oh, I'll be cool. Like, how could it not work out? And that's not the case. When I originally got to LA, it was in a time where they were shutting down the housing due to excessive wait. It was like 8 years. I was really shocked on some of the articles I read about the housing that was like in LA. It was like, is this America or some third world country? Is this for real? I called. I tried to get on it though, and because I was like, this weather is awesome. Like, you got mountains, you got the ocean. Like, I really like this. Like, go figure. Like, I hated all of California until I got to LA, and I was like, I could breathe, and I wasn't like, I can get panic attacks in my hometown, and it's a decent sized town, but it's a lot smaller than LA. And LA, I'm just like 12 lanes of traffic, totally backed up, and I'm fine. And but yeah, I called, and they need an address in order to get on the list. And I'm like, I don't have an address. I'm like, could you send it to a family member? And they're like, sure. But then when they heard it was out of state, they're like, ooh, we don't help people from out of state. I'm like, no, I'm here. I'm just in a vehicle. I don't have an address. The only mailboxes, like, went with cars. But I'm like, no, I am here. And she's like, well, how do you expect us to get in touch with you? I'm like, well, can we do it over the phone? Like, can you send it to my family? They can, like, fill it out, or, general deliver it to me. But yeah, being that I didn't have an address, I could not get on the list. Talk about one of those, if you have a job, you can get a job. Yeah, if you have a house, you can get a house. If you don't, Lord have mercy, because people, for the most, you're just not gonna have mercy. You may get a break here and there, but there's no solutions long term. I eventually got an apartment up north. I had concerns about it, but I figured, hey, I don't like the concept of apartments, but I've never been in one, so I'll give it a try. I have concerns about the fact that it's up north, but you don't know until you try, so I'm like, what the hell? Here goes nothing. And I've been in my car for 3 years and 1 day when I signed on it, and 3.5 months later, I was out. It was awful, and it was an awful experience, and the repercussions in other areas of my life were very ugly. It's just been very life-altering. The apartment had just been built 2 years prior. It was very pretty. It was hell. It was just a hellhole on so many levels. There were so many ifs, ands, and buts. There were inspectors coming through like every week or two. I'm like, what the? They're like, you don't need to be here. We'll just open up your place. It's like, great. And the people were excessively hostile. Like, seriously, the only thing worse than the weather were the people. And it's like, it was just like, why do you want to live in all this hostility? Like, they were going psycho on me. They were going psycho on my friends, and my friends, like, especially the couple that came over the most. I mean, they're like in their 50s with long hair and long skirts, and like, just these really quiet country, like, moms, like, and the people would just go psychotic and blow up my manager's phone whenever anyone was over, even just for 5 minutes. And it's like, this is crazy. The neighbors were really hostile. I had my next door neighbor, she was psychotic, and actually wound up knowing her former best friend, and she cringed when she heard that was who my neighbor was. She's like, ooh, she's never been stable, and then this happened and that happened, and her mind broke. She's like completely psychotic, and her sons threatened some guys who came over to help me with something. They repeatedly tried to murder my dog, which even the management, the last time, I'm like, I'm had it. Like, this isn't worth it. I'm out of here. She's like, oh, like right away the manager's like, well, it would be her. Like, who else would it be? And it's like, yet again, you have this out of control woman who's like on one program after another. The father's not, really present, and it's like they keep bending and kowtowing to her, and then like someone who is sober trying the best they can to live at peace and not be on programs, it's just like go to hell. It's just like, yeah, okay, no thank you. I'm already in it with her as a neighbor and the other people. They kept trying to kill my dog, which really was not okay. I had a private entrance. I had a ground floor. I had his rope tied so he couldn't get to the main sidewalk, and they kept coming up in my yard and putting stuff by the door, like broken chicken bones. The one day he was sniffing. I didn't know what poison they put in my yard, but he didn't go to the bathroom for 3 days. He didn't eat for 3 days. On the 4th day, he was puking. By the grace of God, he survived whatever that attack was. And he wasn't him. My dog loves people. He loves being outside, and he's quite quiet. And he wasn't there. He would not sit outside unless I was sitting with him or he could see me. If he couldn't see me, he would freak out. And even in the apartment, he was freaking out regularly. I would have friends call going, what is that? And it's like, it's him. He's freaking. It's multiple times a day. It's our nerves are totally shot. And the kicker about the apartments too was that, you had to have 3 references, and and been living in a vehicle or you're living in the elements, that's just not something you have. And they wouldn't take personal references. And the people I knew up there had a house. No one had lived in it for 30 years, no running water or anything, but I would stay there sometimes in the summer for a while. But they wouldn't take a reference from them. I stayed with the one gal for like several days. They wouldn't take a reference from her. And so yeah, they sort of bent the rules, and I got 3 references, but it wasn't the type of references they really wanted. They only really got one that they wanted. But yeah, that's another kicker. It's like, oh, we have programs. Oh, wait, you need references. Like, what do you want? Like, is this really to help? But it wasn't worth it. It really wasn't worth it. I didn't feel at home there for 1 second. The one day I thought I was going to like have a stroke or an aneurysm. My grandpa died at 29 of a brain aneurysm, and I'm just like, this is not worth it. Like, it's just not worth it. I'm out. I was in Texas for a little bit. A college friend and her husband, they helped me look at places, and even they were just aghast. They're like, we thought there were programs to help people, like, in like situations when it gets rough. Like, we had no idea. Like, I know we stopped at one apartment, and she came back and they were like low income, and she's just shaking her head. She's like, look at this is ridiculous. Like, to her husband, she's like, this is our house payment minus the tax. We have a really nice house, and these apartments are not nice. Like, and the kicker is with loans, loan companies really don't want to loan to anyone on a house for under $50,000. In that city, I actually had issues. Like, the woman didn't even want to talk to me because of my income is disability. She wanted nothing to do with me, and I'm single. And I have had realtors straight up say they won't sell me anything because they don't feel safe selling to a single female. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, your job is to sell a house, not to dictate. Like, don't expect you to guarantee my safety in any one house. Like, it's just a whole nother can of worms of trying to figure something out, and yet again having your gender and your marital status like thrown in your face and being held against you. It was a pistol, and when you're dealing with lower income houses, you're not just dealing with people who are looking for housing. You're dealing with contractors and handymen who are flipping houses, and they do have the cash on hand. And especially if it's a decent house, like my friend found one, or a second person to look at it, and it was already sold. And yeah, it's just, I find it really frustrating how No one else in this nation is expected to have cash to buy a house except for the people who need the help the most. I really don't think that's okay, and I find it really frustrating that I'm expected to have cash to get a house, but 99% of the nation isn't. It's really frustrating, and you can get cheaper things like mobile homes, but that includes a lot of stairs, and that doesn't work for me. I need something that's level, which really cuts down on the options and loans. They don't necessarily want to loan on like stuff like that, like mobile homes or manufactured homes. I was flabbergasted. They don't actually, depending on the loan, like if you have paint crack or cracked paint, it's deemed unloanable. I'm like, it's not structural damage, it's just cracked paint. You got to be kidding. And it's like, no. It's been quite an experience. Then you do have in-house loans, but it shortens the years drastically, so then the payment is way high again. You can find people who will finance, like the owner finance, but then again, it's a larger down payment and it's for far shorter years, so the payment is sky high yet again. There is subsidized housing or loans through the government, but when you're getting a loan, it's like they want to know the exact house, and it's like, and the loan through the government can take upwards of 90 days. They only have so much money, and I hear the waiting list is quite long. And again, just like with the apartments, they can dictate anything and everything, including how long you can be away from it and who's on your property. And it's like, the whole point for me to own a place is that if I'm up on the payments, I get to decide. I have the freedom to make decisions, and when you involve the government, you don't have that freedom. Not even to who's on your property. I had a gal I knew who was in between houses when I had my apartment, and I'm like, I wish I could offer you, like, you could come stay here, but I can't help you for the amount of time you need. So sorry. I could have never guessed all the obstacles. I could have never guessed. I would have never imagined I would still be in my vehicle. But yeah, and then, some areas, they do have really cheap houses. I found one in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm just like, ugh, I really don't think I could do the humidity, but it was for $1,200. There are houses in some areas, it's like around 1,000 and sometimes just under, and not in the best neighborhood. And then I get flack because it's like, well, you're single and you're white, and what are you thinking? And it's like, I can't afford white. And if you're not going to help me, and if it's so taboo to be my vehicle, like, what the hell do you want? Like, and I guess one thing I have learned is just, you really can't listen to other people. They have so many expectations that they don't even necessarily, like, they're just not, like, how do you expect me to reach them? You're putting me expectations that are just not even, like, no matter what I do, I'm wrong. So the best thing is to just listen to your gut and try not to be bogged down by other people. And I know when I was in Texas, like, I was talking to my friend and her husband, and I just looked at her husband. It's like, what do I do? Like, do you know what I do? Because I don't see a solution here. I'm like, I don't see it. I'm like, do you see anything that I'm missing? And he was just like, no. It's like, I don't know what you do. I really don't know what the solution is. I just don't. All I can say is, don't give up. Just don't give up. But alrighty. So y'all, I hope you make it a good one, and the Lord bless you. Bye-bye.